I think I'm alive. I'm alive. I think hopefully I did it with less drama this time. 'Cause every time I try and do like a preset, it takes me back to the old one, and then I have to like sign out and start over again. It's just so frustrating. So I'm just waiting for the other page to load so I can see who is on. And if I'm alive. Yay! All right. Hey guys, good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy October 3rd. It is the 3rd of October.
It is the 3rd of October.
Oh, delay. There's a delay. Hold on. Let me turn up my volume. What's going on? Hey, Kat. Hey, Chris. Hey, Andre. Hey, Vanna Marie. Oh my God, I haven't gotten to say hi forever. Hi. How are you? I'll just wait a couple more minutes and make sure some other people are on. We can talk about pretty much anything. I kind of want to talk about the president testing positive and maybe what I think it means. Not that I know for sure, but I have some ideas about it. Hey, Lisa Rose. Hey, Neil. Hey, Colleen. How you doing? Hey, Lenny. Oh, I love Tora Amos. How did you know? Did I mention in one of my videos I like Tora Amos? That is my girl. I've never seen her live either, but I love Tora Amos. She inspired me so much. She really gave me a different perspective on what can be done with music. And I actually like a lot of classical music, and just her like mixing it with rock and just her subject matter was just badass to me. And I think I like the relationship she has with her fans, because I think she was the first person I saw, or that I made. I'm sure she's not the first person, but she she has a really good relationship. You know, she listens to her fan. I really feel like she's one of the few musicians I know that has a give take relationship with her fans. You know, and she's a true composer, and that's kind of like what I would like to be. Not just but she really like thinks deeply about the music she composes, not only lyric wise but composition wise. So hi, Mark. She's bomb. I love her. I mean, she'll be awesome to see all the way up into her 80s, just like Nina Simone. Like Nina Simone, I don't know if she composed a lot of her music. I think she did a lot of standards. But Nina Simone, I don't think I would have gotten along with Nina Simone though. She seemed like she was a total bitch. She was not a nice person, and she threw temper tantrums. I saw this documentary on Nina Simone, and even her band members were like, "Yeah, dude, she was crazy." Like they told the story of she was out somewhere, and her fan was like, one of her fans was like, "Oh my God, I love your music." She's like, "Get the fuck away from me," and just like starts going off and chasing the fan around. Yeah, I love her music, but I don't think as like a personality, they're people that I'm like, okay, I can separate their art form from who they are as a person, right? Like I can be like, oh, their music's amazing, but if I had to work with him or if I had to meet them, I'm not really eager to do that. And then what else? Oh, dude, she was like, there's video footage of this. She was at someplace in France, and she was playing, and somebody got up, and I guess they were gonna leave, and then she's like, "Sit down, sit down. I'm not playing until you sit down." And but the French people were like, "Yes, yes." I'm like, she's a bitch. Maybe what if that person had to go to the bathroom? What if they had to go pee? She's gonna make them like sit there and like, so, yeah, I don't know. So, all right, I'm gonna get to my promos first, and then we'll get into talking and calling and all that good stuff. All right. So, let me see. I gotta turn this on. See if this is working. Hold on. All right, guys, join my email list. Go to truthertalk.com. Join my email list right here. Also, you can go by this shop. You can actually buy that picture that's in the background too. I haven't really done a lot of talking about that, but oh great. Come on. Okay, it's loading. This is amazing artwork that my friend Narciso did, and it basically is you can buy this. We're selling prints of this too. It basically it's a commentary basically of what's going on, right? You see people assembly line, they're going to work, right, for the American dream. They have these ball and chains. Everybody on the ground has these ball and chains on them. I mean, it's so much explanation and so many Easter eggs in this painting. I can't go over all of it in a short amount of time, but if you can kind of look at some of the stuff here, there's some jokes in here. There's the DeLorean from Back to the Future. I don't know if you can see from, let me see, okay, on the right. I don't know if you can see my arrow, but if you look over to your left, there's a control substances are us and Monsatan and making fun of McDonald's and New World Gap. There are all these little like jokes and Easter eggs about the New World Order and in this piece of art, and that's for sale. We also have another one that is sheep. It's a cross between They Live and meets Animal Farm, right? And this farmer, it is the man, I guess, or is representative of that, and the animals got the glasses, so they're awake because they can see, right? And the sheep, the black sheep, is just like watching this go down, right? So that's one. And then what else do we have? We have, of course, my informational zines. I did one on measles, one on GMOs. These are more for kids, or people that are just beginning, about the miracles of cannabis and how that is, how it could be used not only to, I don't really talk about smoking, but I talk about how cannabis can be used to make things. Like, a lot of kids don't know this, right? Especially if you have children that are worried about the environmental crisis. They don't understand, like the huge effect that cannabis can have on the planet, as far as like being a substitute for oil, being able to make textiles, being able to have food, make milk, make seeds, make flour. It's amazing. So I talk about that in that zine. And then I have a debate on the vaccine. And then I have this All Lives Matter bumper sticker, right? And then could you see that? Men and women have equal rights. Oh, all lives matter. Men and women have equal rights. Veracious science is real science. There's a difference between legal and illegal immigrants. Where there is love, there is life, and freedom is everything. So that is, and then of course the infamous Conspiracy Realist T-shirt, right? The co-founder, she's modeling it right there. That's me when I lived in Taiwan. I don't know if you can see. It's a Ximending area, and that's kind of like the Times Square of Taipei. But I've had this shirt made 10 years ago, but that's when I had straight hair. I relaxed my hair, and I'm modeling in Ximending, and then that's other homie modeling the T-shirt, and then you can, there's a size chart, so you can get your exact size. And what else? Please sign up for my Conspiracy Realism course. I said it was going to go up to $80, but my bad. I'm having trouble uploading the fourth module, and I think the file's too big because this module ended up not only being an hour, but like a 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I think I'm going to have to cut the file down, and I'm going to do that after the show and re-upload it then. So until I get, I'll leave it at $40 for another week. So when I upload the fifth module, I'll put it up to $80. I feel bad about not getting it uploaded in time when I said I would. And these are all the modules right here. What is conspiracy? Who wants to rule the world? There's going to be 10 in total. So the next one that's waiting for upload is medicine and science. And that's a pretty long one. And then the one I'm writing right now, I'm working on and organizing, is the education system. So, and there's a trailer you can watch there. Here's a little bit of the description. It also comes with a PDF that you can download and read along with. And it has links at the end of the course, so you can kind of go deep, do some deeper research. Also, join my music channel. I will be releasing new music at the end of this month, and I think you guys are really gonna like it. It's gonna come along with a music video and a bunch of other cool stuff. It's going to also I'm going to use it to the crowdfunding campaign that I'm planning. I'm going to use it to fund my album, because I want to do a full album with along with mini movies to go. It's going to be a commentary on society, and I think, you know, us truthers, conservatives, whoever we want to call it, we really need to have a really good a good setting in the culture war. The culture war, because culture and art is very important in what we're going through. If you look at the left side and the leftist philosophy, they own this, they own that part, and we need to start stepping up too, because really that's how you affect the minds and souls of people, is through art and music. So also the Walk Away campaign um, is um, is happening today. It's going to be in DC. If you go to the last video I did, the link is in the comments if you want to learn more. If you are in the DC or the New York area, maybe even whatever cities are closer, major cities are closer to DC, and if you can get down there today, that would be amazing, I'm sure, for you, because you'll be able to meet awesome like-minded people, patriots. I think it's going to be really great. I'm really sad that I can't go. So yeah, and getting back. All right. So yeah. Hello everybody. So those are my promos. Going back to the comment section. Okay, not only present tested positive, but many of those who attended that. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, that's awful. She didn't like her friends. Yeah, that's crazy about Nina Simone. I'm saying ego galore. How now those that got tested are positive, looks like they got infected maybe with those tests. Well, I mean, the tests give false positives. You know, let me show you something. No more fake news. There's a really amazing journalist, and he does a lot of medical research and stuff. His name is John Rappaport. I'm going to pull up his page so you guys can see it. So he's done really good in-depth research on the PCR test and how they're fake. And, you know, everybody says, oh, Trump's amazing, Trump's a genius, but he's also just a person, and he doesn't know everything. His followers don't know everything. I'm not his followers, his cabinet, his people around, they don't know everything, you know. And the stuff that I'm talking about, I feel once it gets out, or if it gets out, you know, on a large scale, it's going to totally revolutionize the medical industry. And this is information about, you know, germ theory versus terrain theory, and how it doesn't, you know, really how the germ theory that we base everything on is basically based on lies, you know. And it would totally revolutionize health once this information gets out. But, you know, as for now, everybody thinks that viruses cause illnesses and not the terrain, which is how we take care of our bodies. If the guy O, I had some stuff for O lined up, and for people that want to know more about medical stuff. And I don't know if you guys know about kind of like my past. Some do, some don't. But, you know, I used to be really, 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 really sick. I still have allergies. You know, I'm doing videos. I'm always like wiping my nose and stuff. And I'm always like, you know, like my eyes are, I mean, honestly, I'm doing way, way, way better than I used to do. I was constantly having asthma attacks, constantly allergic to everything, constantly getting the flu, like constantly sick, like just sick all the time. And, you know, I've really been able to change a lot of my health through diet and just what I put into my body. And that goes along with the terrain theory. You basically are what you eat. And some people are more sensitive than others. But if you're putting, you know, if you're basically taking anti-inflammatory irritants, food out of your diet, and you're giving yourself nourishment, you know, or if you're taking inflammatory foods out of your diet and you're giving yourself nourishment, your body will like heal itself, you know, as opposed to these pharmaceutical medicines and vaccines that the establishment wants us to be dependent on. So you know, we can like, you know, we can heal ourselves. And I really don't see a need for allopathic medicine, only, you know, if you need to have a surgery for an injury or something like that. That's the only time. Like, I don't really do doctors. I do chiropractic. I mean, I don't do allopathic doctors. I go to the chiropractor. I have a naturopath. I'm actually starting to study homeopathy a little bit, which is fascinating. Um, but for and anybody that wants medical stuff, I actually got some what do you call it? Just some links lined up. I guess I can put these in the links when this is done. But I want to show you their web pages and what they look like. So there's a lady named Suzanne Humphries. This is my girl. I swear, if I see this lady in public, I would lose my mind and probably like treat her like start screaming as if she were a Beatles fan. I just think she's so phenomenal. She's so brilliant. And these assholes have not been able to take her down. They've tried. I think the last thing they've tried to do was like they gave her really violent death threats, and they said that they were gonna she got this really violent death threat, which she read on a video talking about like how they wanted to like kill her slowly and drain her blood. It was really graphic and really crazy, but she's so brilliant. She actually lectures to other doctors around the world about vaccines. She was actually a physicist and then went to get her medical degree. And I think she took a few classes in homeopathy, but they try and use that, of course, to smear her and say that she's a homeopath. But she's not. She's an internal specialist, and she actually even went further in medical school and got her degree in nephrology, which she's like a kidney doctor as well. So she had even more knowledge on that. But she talks about her story, and she had a personal situation that actually started her researching vaccines, and now she just knocks it out the park. She gives all of these amazing lectures to doctors all around the world, and she actually uploads a lot of her a lot of her information online for people to see, so even lay people can like see her videos. Some of her old stuff isn't up like it used to be, but I mean, like, she gets this polio lecture. I don't know if you can see let me see if you can see okay, I'm hovering over it. You can't see the hand. Her polio lecture will blow your mind. Same thing with the smallpox lecture up at the top, on the top left. But I mean, all this stuff, vitamin C. Once you know this stuff, dude, you won't be afraid of viruses. I'm telling you. Any microbes, you understand, right? Another person I follow is Dr. Cowan. His work is brilliant. He has at least 3 books. He has one that he's written on vaccines, but he also has written a book on water. He's written a book on the heart. And I think he's one of the doctors. There are a bunch of doctors that are actually getting together and relinquishing their license because they're realizing, as they tell the truth about what's happening and how a lot of this information is being suppressed, the evil demons from hell come after them and try and discredit them and take their license. So if people know that they have the knowledge, they really don't need a license to practice. And if they relinquish their license, it can't be taken away from them. My friend Robert, who's also, I consider him one of my mentors. Hold on. Where's Robert? Oh, Robert. Robert Scott Bell. He has an amazing show. He goes, I don't know how he does it. He goes 6 days a week, like 3 hours a day, and he talks about all this stuff. And he actually covers a lot of these doctors that I talked about and other stuff. He's actually talking about the Trump test positive and what it means. I think that was the last show that he did. He also travels a lot, and he goes to Health Freedom conferences and takes his show on the road with him. And he's just like, Robert is just like a white ball of healing light. That's just the best way that I can think to describe Robert. He's so good at being diplomatic. I feel like I try and study a lot from him, but he knows how to stand his ground without, but I don't know what he does. He knows how to stand his ground, but he's also open to letting other people listen and give their point of view as well. And he's just like the smartest, nicest dude ever. And let me go back. So it's Dr. Humphries, Dr. Cowan. Who else do we have up here? Andrew Kaufman. I actually interviewed him. I think he's a psychiatrist and an MD, and he's going to be in group of one of those doctors that's going to relinquish their license. He's actually making money, taking clients from the clients that he's gained, speaking out on the truth and about the virus and talking about how they haven't isolated it and talking about exosomes and stuff like that. And if you're interested, I think that's really amazing. There's another lady. I don't think she has a page. I think she's kind of gone into hiding. But she wrote this book, AIDS, Opium, Diamonds, and Empire. And you can, if you scourge YouTube, you can find some of her videos up. But her name is Dr. Nancy Turner Banks. And she's an MD. And she's just like, oh, what is this? The Realist Report? Oh, okay, that's not her. Somebody interviewed her. But she's amazing. Another lady, Dr. Sheri Tennpenny, okay? She's phenomenal. I mean, all these people are just amazingly brilliant, and they're really good at explaining things and making things simple for lay people. And I respect them because they don't have an ego, and they want lay people to learn these things. Because honestly, if lay people understand these things, it makes their job easier. You can have a really good relationship with your doctor. It's like a partnership. Another lady who's really hot, and I think she's amazing too, is Kelly Brogan. She's also a psychiatrist and an MD. And you might want to look at her and, and her stuff as well. She's actually married to Sayer G, this dude in the left, who is the founder of Greenmedinfo. And Greenmedinfo, they also have phenomenal research and articles. And this is Sayer G's book that's out, Regenerate. And I think that's everybody. All right, I think that's everybody. Join my email list. Join it. All right, that's it. Okay, I'm going to start taking calls. I know I rambled for a lot. Wait. How did I take it off? Okay, there we go. All right. I rambled for a lot. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys that information. So I will give you, it's taking calls time. 481-7464. I have the volume up today. I'll make sure I have the volume so I can actually hear when you call. Unlike yesterday, I feel so bad. I apologize again about that, you guys. But yeah, there you go. So those are the doctors I follow. And if you think I'm smart, I ain't got nothing on those people. Those are the people that I get my info from. And some of them I've been following for at least a decade. So, Amanda K, I already interviewed Dr. Kaufman. So if you just go back maybe a few months ago, you can look at that interview with him. I already interviewed him. You also might want to look at an interview with David Crow, if they haven't removed it. If it's not there, just email me, and if it's not uploaded to BitChute, I don't remember if I uploaded it to BitChute or not, but I can upload it to BitChute. So 512-481-7464. 512-481-7464. Oh, why is it? It's not ringing. Okay. Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Who is this?
Lenny.
Huh?
Lenny.
Hey, Lenny. What's going on?
Not much. What do you think about Trump getting COVID?
I think kind of like what I said before. I think that, well, first of all, you can't contain any of these microbes, and you can't really prevent people from getting anything. I think that it is a very, if you believe in the virus theory, I think it's a very mild virus, and it has a 98% survival rate. There are people that have theorized, that believe in the virus theory, that everybody is going to get it, and we might as well just get over it and just develop our herd immunity. So I think he's going to be fine. I think that the tests also give false positives. There's so much documentation on that. Like before, when I brought up John Rappaport just a few minutes ago, he's done really good research on talking about how these PCR tests, they give false positives. the PCR test,
Mm-hmm.
when you test for something, they don't see they don't look for a virus. They test for markers, and any of these markers can make you test positive for it. So, I mean, I think he'll be okay. I've been praying for him. You know, he probably is sick, maybe, but just because you're sick doesn't mean that you have corona. And then also the diagnostic criteria that has been put in place for, coronavirus, they don't really distinguish it from the flu or like pneumonia or any of these respiratory illnesses. They all just kind of clump them up together. So,
Well, yeah, they've even admitted that it's just testing for symptoms. So if you have the symptoms that are associated with COVID, then yeah, you have COVID.
But they also said that, like, a lot of the cases that they claimed as positive, they were what do you call it? They didn't even like give people tests. They just base it off of symptoms. They're just like, oh, you have a cough, oh, it must be COVID. Oh, you're sneezing, oh, it must be COVID.
Yeah, I did hear that.
And then
Like
it's like,
people were calling like their primary care, and they're like, okay, well, just put down that you have COVID, stay in your house for a week, and if you get worse, call the paramedics. They'll take you to the hospital.
yeah, and it's just like, why, it's a weird. They're doing a nasal swab test for a respiratory illness, you know? Like your ear, nose, and throat are
Yeah, that doesn't
connected.
make sense. One, they want to go down your throat.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, just there's so many holes in the logic of what's going on. But because people are put in a state of fear, they are able to get away with it. And also people don't like, I know I'm not trying to be arrogant, but this is just I know about this even when, like, from the first day that this stuff came out. I just knew that it was bogus because all the people that I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream, I followed, and I followed them for decades, and I understand how this stuff works. So if the general population doesn't really know this stuff, and that's the thing that's always concerned me, if they don't know these basic elementary principles of science, then they're easier to fool. And I'm not saying people are stupid, because I don't think people are stupid. They're just overwhelmed, but they're intentionally given wrong information. So, and in addition to that, all these years we've been predictive program with all of these zombie virus movies, slash pathogen, Outbreak and The Stand. I remember when I saw The Stand, that shit scared the hell out of me. Have you seen that movie?
Which one?
The Stand?
No, I haven't. I saw Contagion, though.
Contagion. The Stand was even creepier because it was a made-for-TV movie, and it came out years ago, and I think it was like it was like a week long or something, but it was like a Stephen King movie, and basically the opening scene starts off with just dead people in the streets, like everybody's dead. So the camera like pans around, and there are people in the laboratory just keeled over, like bleeding out of their orifices, and they're just dead from this virus. And allegedly what happens is in the book, or not allegedly, but what happens in the book is there's this virus that's in a lab, and it gets out, and it like gets out into the open, and it just like kills everybody. And then like there are like dogs dead in the street and horses dead in the street. It's a really morbid opening. And basically like 90% of the world dies from this virus, and then like 10% of the people are left, and then it becomes this battle between good and evil. But the thing about that is too, from my research and from what I understand, viruses or microbes, they can't really kill the population like that because everybody's terrain is different, right? Everybody has different tolerances for different things, sensitivities. Now, they can kill people with like chemicals. They can do chemicals, and it'd have to mainly be in like an enclosed space. Then one of the theories about why, I think there are many purposes for chemtrails, but one of the theories about chemtrails is, if you're putting aluminum and barium into the air and it's falling down and people are inhaling it and absorbing it, it's going to weaken their immune system. So for anybody to be, a population to be killed on a large scale, they really have to weaken people's immune system or put them in a closed space. Like a few years ago, there was this attack on the subway where they used sarin gas and killed a bunch of people in the subway. But this was like in Japan. but it was an enclosed space and it was chemicals. So I believe that you can kill somebody with chemical attacks and make people sick with chemical attacks, or either certain wave frequencies, but not with the pathogen, because people are going to respond differently to that according to where they are in their terrain. If does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
And then somebody that I know, my cousin, a friend of hers, the father gets into a motorcycle accident, and they said died from the motorcycle accident. And they said it was COVID.
Yeah, I mean, my cousin's not even woke on this stuff, or awake or conscious of this stuff. But I was talking to her about how they're also putting down different, what do you call it, different diagnoses on the forms, or no, basically what we're talking about, right? And then she was like, "Oh my God, I believe that." But she goes, "Because I have a friend that works in the mortuary, and he." So a gangbanger came in with a gunshot wound to the head, and they marked him down as COVID on the death certificate. Like, seriously? Seriously? And then another thing they're doing is people with comorbidities. Um, like my cousin, I haven't talked to him. I don't know what his thoughts are about the story, but my cousin was diagnosed with COVID. But you know what? He also had two small heart attacks, so they said, in the day, and he had a blood clot. But then they're like, "Oh yeah, and you have COVID too." I'm like, "Really? Is that what's making him sick? You know, or was it the
No,
heart
it's
attacks? You know, and then why is he having a heart attack? Is he eating properly? Is he exercising? You know, people don't just have heart attacks, you know, out of nowhere. It's the accumulation of other things that they're doing with their body, right? How they're treating themselves. So what medicines they're taking. I mean, so many things that could attribute to a heart attack. So I don't know how he feels about that, but I mean, when I was told that, and my friend was like, "Oh my God, he has COVID." I'm like, "Chill out." And he's survived. He's fine, you know.
well, that's good. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
But the CDC, they've admitted it themselves that 94% of the COVID deaths, the people they had two or more comorbidities.
Yeah.
So not to be callous, but they probably would have gotten a fever and died.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true. I mean, yeah, they did admit that. I was going to mention that next. They admitted that. They also admitted it when this first came out in Italy. There was I think it was a Bloomberg wrote an article. They were like, "Oh yeah, 99% of the people diagnosed with COVID in Italy had comorbidities." Yet, the media, the news media is blasting all over the globe saying, "Oh my God, Italy's been hit worse." And then they also got caught faking news footage, from New York,
My
saying that it
family's
was
still in
Italy.
Italy.
Huh?
I said I have family still in Italy.
Yeah, what do they think?
They were telling us that it's really, really bad, but also that they have an elderly population and the healthcare system there is no good.
Well, the healthcare system
Like,
sucks. Oh, sorry, go on.
my mom's talking to them and she's taking vitamins and she's talking about the vitamins. And my cousin, she's like, "Yeah, we don't get that here." She's like, "We're healthier in the sense that our diet is different.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're healthier in that sense. But in terms of like healthcare, like access to healthcare, no, the healthcare system is no good. They let people die over there because the government runs the healthcare system."
I've heard
And then
that.
they were saying,
Yeah.
they were talking about they're more into like the borders are open, and so the people coming in, they're bringing the virus because they're like, okay, so we locked down, but then now you're having people come in on these little boats, hundreds and hundreds of people cramped on these little boats, and they're coming from like countries that don't have very, very good healthcare systems, very good hospitals.
Yeah.
And you're having them in cramped conditions when you're telling us that we need to be 6 feet apart.
Yeah, I mean, so my knowledge is that it doesn't matter if there's a virus per se. People are not going to get sick because of a virus. It's because of their immune systems not being intact. So you can be exposed to somebody with the virus and still not be sick. And it's like they're also the area in Italy that was diagnosed. Like I researched that too. They also have a really bad. They really also have a really that area of Italy. They have an industrial. They have pollution, really really bad pollution in that part of in Italy because it's an industrial area. So if you
Yeah, because the
any industrial
textile.
areas is going to have a high rate of respiratory illness anyway. So I think they just use that to their advantage too. And also, what was I going to say? There's a huge health freedom movement in Italy, and they were actually speaking out against mandatory vaccination. They're about to have a huge like a walkout and protests before this even happened. So there's part of me too that wonders if they weren't trying to make an example of Italy because of that as well. And that's what I feel the globalists do a lot too. Whenever a president or a country, kind of like goes against the narrative, the president either ends up dying mysteriously, as in what was that? What was that African country? I can't think of the name of it, but the president, one of the presidents died when he was criticizing the COVID narrative. He just mysteriously died of a heart attack. Heart attack gun.
Is that the
And
guy that with the papaya?
no, it was another dude. It was another dude. Yeah, it was another dude that died. But he died mysteriously of a heart attack, and everybody was like, well, "How can this be? He was super healthy. He was in good health, and he just like dropped dead all of a sudden." But then there was another dude too. That was I think Tanzania that actually like he got some of the tests and he wrote different names of people on the test, and he actually just had the lab people swab like different things like oil, papaya, pawpaw fruit, and like the pawpaw came positive. He used goats. He used all kinds of different things, and either they came back inconclusive or positive, and most of them came back positive. And he was just like, dude, like, don't, chill out. But I think that they tried to go after him as well too. At least they tried to smear him, at least. But either those anybody that speaks out, and for the poor countries that don't have military protection, they're even more at risk because they either get like, they get smeared. Of course the media is going to call them conspiracy theorists or call them crazy. Or if you're an African person, they won't say it. To me it's very racist, but they'll kind of spin it like, oh, these savages don't know what they're talking about, these poor, underdeveloped. They'll use the word like underdeveloped. These underdeveloped people don't know what they're talking about. They're just not
Yeah.
modern like we are, and they don't know. But these people know. They probably know more than most people. They have if you're farming and if you're closer to the earth, and you know how to hunt and stuff, you actually have more of an understanding of ecology than all these like stupid tech nerds do that are writing. I'm not saying if you're a tech nerd you're stupid, but I'm talking about the tech nerds that have the mentality that they're modern and they're more evolved and these people aren't. So
Yeah.
does that make sense? Do you want to say anything else? I'm going to take this other caller that's calling in.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
have a nice day.
Okay, too. Thanks for calling in. Okay, bye-bye. Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello. What's good? What's good? What's good?
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's your name?
C1.
C1? C1.
Yep,
All
C1.
right.
I'm calling from Philadelphia.
All right. All right. C1.
Yeah.
What's going on? How are you? What's good? What you want to talk about?
I'm well, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Yo, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh,
I've
you
been
too.
watching your videos and just seeing your line of logic and how you get down, and it is so refreshing. You know what I'm saying? Because as a dude, to see another woman, and especially like, I don't want to say this as cliche, but to see like a black woman that has your mindset and is talking about the subject that you talk about is wildly refreshing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
I do.
You remind me of myself. Like I listened to you the other day when I saw when you got fired or whatever. I had a problem at the job about the mask. the other day when you went in the store and you told us the story about something, a problem with the mask, and they asked you to leave and something like that.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Yeah.
Oh, this is, you mean like last week?
Yeah, it was like a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, they didn't ask me to leave though, but they were trying to get me to leave. They were trying to coerce me into leaving, but I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm fucking stuck today.
I've been wanting to tell you. Because as I'm watching it, I'm like, yo, she should see me because I don't wear a mask. I don't play that nonsense. I'm not going in. I go into stores, and the only way I will put something on, you have to force me. And then even if you forcing me, I'm doing the all right, look, I'll put it on one ear and let it hang.
Yeah.
You know, I don't walk with one. I'm not purchasing one of them. You're not the only person. Like, you're not alone. Like, you're using your common sense. And if people out there telling you you're crazy, and it's because you're right.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yeah, I just, I actually bought a sheer mask, but I haven't used it, and I'm just like, I was like, okay, well, if I have to wear one, I'm gonna wear a sheer mask, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna wear it at all. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I can tell it hurts your spirit.
Yes, it does. My friend was saying,
it hurts my spirit. It's just like, yo, conforming and just getting in line like a duck. Like, no, I'm not that. I'm not going out like that.
Oh, for sure. And one of my friends was saying she feels like she dies a little bit inside every time she has to wear one, and she doesn't really wear one that much. But it's harder if you have kids, if you got to get groceries, if you got to take them certain places, and you got to wear it. So I'm not judging people that have to wear it, but at the same time,
no, listen.
Huh?
I have a daughter. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Oh no,
I have a daughter.
Go on.
I tell her, take it off when you walking with me, man. If you take that thing off, man. Like, I'm not playing this nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't learn this from me. I'm not teaching you to be a goofball and just deny common sense. Because she sees me and she's just like, Dad, you're doing it again. Like, you're embarrassing if you had to come out with me. Because I'll snap on them in a heartbeat. Like, yo, don't bother me about this mask. I walk in Target. I walk in Walmart. I walk wherever I just walk right in. Sometimes you just got to do things like you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Not
and
like
she'll thank you.
and thinking about it. Just walk in the store.
Yeah, you got to walk in with confidence and like you own it. And
walk in with confidence.
Yeah, and the girl, your daughter's gonna thank you. She's gonna thank you when she gets older and she understands. She really will. Because even without the mask, my parents. My mom, and my mom's older, and she just wears a mask when she needs to and stuff. But when I was younger, if my mom, we were like discriminated against or something happened, my mom would like go off on people in a minute. And when I was a kid, I'd be like, oh mom, like no, you're embarrassing me, oh my God, and especially if there was a situation with like I don't know how it is in Philly, but I grew up in LA, and the tension between, especially before the riots, between the Koreans and the blacks were really like thick, and you would literally go into stores and people would just treat you like shit, And I remember there was one time we went to this Korean store, and this lady was just treating us like shit, like following us around like we were gonna steal something. And granted, there are people, I kind of see their point of view as I'm a little bit older and understand business more. There are just thug ass people that go in there and steal their shit, But they don't have to treat every customer like that. Like going into a dressing room and then standing right in front of the dressing room, like when you're trying clothes on, like being or saying shit like hurry up and buy, shit like that. So I remember my mom going off on this lady. And she was Korean, and she embarrassed the hell out of the lady. And I was just like, oh, Mom, oh, my God, everybody's looking at us. But I'm so grateful now that my mom was like that, because she taught me how to be like that. And now it's kind of funny because I'm too much like that now. And now my mom's like, Virstyne. Now she's telling me that I'm embarrassing her. I'm like, well, it's your fault. You made me this way.
I find it's a thin line. Because at the same time, like, just say the Asian stores out here in Philly on the East Coast. And especially, I can speak for Philadelphia especially. Like, it's a thin line sometimes because they'll go, the black people will complain, oh, they hurry up and buy, hurry up. But if you hear the way black people talk to the Asians when they walk in the store, the disgusting attitudes,
I
will
get it.
rob them. they do say, yo, hurry up, and they no hello, no nothing. Just talking to them like it's some kind of drug deal over
Yeah,
ordering Chinese food or something like that.
no, totally. I get it too. I see both sides. I really do. I get it as well. And especially, like you
Yeah.
watch this channel, I love Asian culture. I love African. I love all cultures. I love cultural shit. When I grew up in Korea, what is now, it wasn't called Koreatown when I was growing up, but most of my friends growing up, like the first half of my life were like Asian and Latino, and I get it. And there's, when I go to LA, there's this one lady who has a black beauty supply store. Her name is Alice, and she's on Crenshaw, Washington, and I always patronize her. She's the nicest lady, and she's one of the first Korean-owned stores that I went into that really treated me like a human being. I patronize her to this day. Even when I go back to LA, I'm like, all right, I'm going to Alice's and say what's up, So, but I get it too. Like, I get it. I see people, I'm just like, damn, like, I don't, like, they're black and I don't like them. Like, I get it, like, but as far as wearing the mask thing too, man, I just, it breaks my heart to see kids wearing the mask. So I'm glad that you don't make your daughter wear that, man. It makes me, psychologically, it's so messed up for kids, and especially, like, I used to work in special ed. That was one of the first things I thought about too. It's like a lot of the autistic kids, they have to take classes in order to read emotions. We're so blessed that we don't even understand like how much we have to be grateful for, because working with kids like that too just gave me an insight into just all the ways that my brain functions correctly. But they can't even look at people and see if somebody is happy or sad, so they have to be taught that. They can't read that shit, so they have to have these flashcards that has a person with a happy face on, and it says happy. Oh, okay, so they know, they have to really think about it. Have to be like, oh, when somebody's eyes are open and they're raised and their mouth goes like this, that means that they're happy. And when somebody's eyebrows go down and they, that means that they're angry. They really have to be taught this, like, little by little. Now these masks are going to fuck everything up. And then somebody wrote me and said that her boyfriend was deaf because of tongs, during birth, and it messed up his hearing, and now he's deaf. And he says he can't even, she was like, her boyfriend is so depressed that he just stays inside, and because he can't communicate with people with the mask on. So they're not even taking people like that into consideration. They don't give a fuck. Like, fuck those people. Like, they don't matter. They're being selfish,
Yep, they don't care. It's about, like, I get depressed going outside because when I go to the park and I see people literally standing 6 feet apart with a mask on outside, I'm like, I can't be around these kind of people.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to say what it is. Like, I look at them and I say, you're dumb. You don't have common sense. Like, you're easily programmed, and it gets under my skin.
Well, no, it does. It does. It really disturbs me. And I go to those places, I always stand outside the line and never stand in the box. I'm like, I'm not in fucking kindergarten. Even in kindergarten, I didn't do that.
I went to a store the other day. There was a woman in line. She looked at me. The woman right in front of me in line, turned around. She said, since you're not going to wear a mask, would you mind keeping 6 feet? I said no.
Yeah, somebody tried that shit too.
She got her face like the record skipped because she was like, he's not supposed to say that. Like, he's supposed to just follow the rules.
I know, exactly,
no.
exactly.
Then she goes, she's like, will you please do it? I said, look, if you're scared, you shouldn't have come to the store. I'm not playing your dumb game.
Yeah.
She went as far as to try to get the staff to make me put one on, and the staff told her, said, sorry, ma'am, I can't force him to do that.
Oh, what a little! She's probably one of those people that tattletaled in school and shit all the time. On people.
They're just virtue signaling, and they're see, PC culture. I blame it on PC culture.
Yeah.
PC culture has dumbed the masses of people down. PC culture means we don't tell the truth. When you don't tell the truth, you have people outside repeating lies.
Exactly.
And stupidity.
Exactly.
And after and this is years and years of people not telling the truth in order to be politically correct.
Yeah.
And that's why you could tell these people, put a mask on that the box clearly says does not stop virus, and you go and you put it on every day like a dummy. You even driving in your car
I
by
know.
yourself, mask on.
Dude,
You're an idiot.
yeah, you know what's even funny? I see
Where
these like,
you're so cool and virtuous. You're an idiot.
yeah, dude, it's so fun. Like, even these gangbangers, I've seen like these like ass people with masks on. It just makes them look so effeminate and emasculated. I just can't. I'm just like, that does not make you look hard. I'm not even scared of
The
you.
toughest, we are in an era. I'm sorry to cut you.
No,
We're in
no,
an
go
era
on.
where even the rapper is soft.
Yeah, I know.
He's a crybaby. The biggest football player. He does all of this weightlifting and then he cries. Oh, somebody sent me a racist message.
I know.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, I
We
used
would have
to
laughed
teach.
at you in school. I'd have laughed you out of school. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
he's telling the teacher. Oh
Dude,
my God.
I used to teach these kids in China online. When I moved back from Taiwan, I got this job teaching at the school online. And I had this kid, he loved LeBron James. He was obsessed with him. Can barely speak English. He knew how to say LeBron James though. And you know, worship him like a god. I'm like, there are people all over the world that worship him like a god, but he's crying because somebody called him a nigger. Like, get out of here. Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, that's it. It's embarrassing. That's
Yeah.
weak. That's a weak,
is weak.
dude. Like, yo, man. And you're rich.
And you're rich. Yeah, you're super rich. You're
He's
like,
rich and he's crying.
yeah, I don't know. Like,
You're
I don't
a
know.
liar.
I don't know what people get out of this victim shit. It's just, I guess they get, you know, they get, but it's really weak energy, and it's like you're basically depending on other people to make you happy, to make you feel secure about yourself, and that's just such a turn off. It's repulsive to me. Yeah, it is, and I'm just
I don't understand how these women can respect these men. Or I was told by the other day, I was in Walmart, and I asked a woman, I said, do women really respect these weak dudes like this? It's kind of, she said, no, they're just going for the money. It's just, you know.
Yeah, I was about to say,
whatever
it's
they
probably
do,
money. It's probably money.
They're with it.
Yeah, totally. It's the money. Or just, you know, there are a lot of women that are with men, and vice versa. They're men with women, I'm just saying. But, you know, so they don't want to be alone. A lot of people just don't want to be alone, or their validity and their self-worth relies on, like, being with a man, you know?
But at the end of the day, that's not a man. That's a beta man. That's not a man. He's over. He's kneeling. He's putting his mask on. He does what he does. He social distances. He does everything he's told. That's not a man.
Oh,
that's
no.
A sucker.
Yeah, it is. It's a sucker. My friend was like, it's a sucker fool. But yeah, I saw this guy the other day from the back. He looked really hot, like his body was built and stuff, and he was really tall. And I was like, And then he turned around. He was wearing a mask. I was like, yeah, no, I'm done.
A turn off.
I was just I can't. I was like, I can't. And he took it off, and he was still pretty good looking, but I was like done. I was just like, yeah, I don't. I
No,
can't.
it's a turn off. Put it this way: for thinking people, that shit is it's a no. It separates the men from the boys, the women from the girls.
Well, you know, I also,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it also is a lot of things, right? Like, I think, you know, for me, I think it's a combination, like what you said, the PC culture. I didn't think about that, so that's another element I guess I would add. It's the PC culture. The second is just, like, I'm always complaining about the lack of, the ignorance of when it comes to elementary science that people don't know, the predictive programming and the fear, you know, all these, and then also fear of, like, you know, not just fear of dying from a virus with a 98% survivor rate, but fear of just what other people are going to think of them and wanting to fit in and not wanting to stand out. And I think that is like the number one fear. Like, public speaking, right, is like the number one fear, but it really is the number one fear because people are afraid to speak in public because they don't want to be ashamed and they're afraid of what people think of them, right?
Yep, and that's I think that's another downfall of PC culture, only saying what you're allowed to say, and then also the school systems have dumbed down people where they don't understand if you don't have proper reading comprehension and have a grasp of the vocabulary and know that certain words can be used different ways, they have multiple meanings.
Yeah, totally.
You're at a loss. These people can tell you something and they run circles around you because you can't comprehend.
Exactly.
You don't know
It's
what
like,
was being said. You don't have the tools to read between the lines. And you read everything on a basic level.
well, you know, like,
And the person that's writing it knows, like, yo, I just gave this 3 minutes, this is a double entendre, triple entendre I just did to them. I know that they're going to pick the basic one, the first one, but you know what I'm saying?
yeah, no, it's
And they
sorcery.
just
It's a
get
form of
circles
sorcery.
ran around them all day long.
It's a form of sorcery, and also I was talking about this like a few years ago. I interviewed who was it? Oh, this is like years and years ago. The thing is on the podcast, but we were talking about how language is also used as a way to separate classes and separate, so in jargon, right, how jargon that's used. So even with medical terminology and certain things, they have certain words that are very complex when they could kind of dumb it down, or they could actually bring it down to basic level so people understand. But it intimidates people, right? And they're like, oh, that's a really long word, I'm not smart, I can't understand a word like that, you know. So they know that, and they talk a certain way, they use certain terms, they use words with double meanings. They, you know, they don't they're basically speaking to a certain group of people, and they don't what is it going to say? They know basically what you said. And then, you know, years ago, this is at least 10 years ago, but I was reading something that was saying that the average population reads at an 8th grade reading level.
Yeah,
Eighth
I
grade.
can imagine that. I think it's
It's probably
lower than that.
No, it's probably lower. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is 10 years ago. So, you know, I'm always trying to, I'm just a nerd like that, though. I'm always trying to read stuff. I'm always trying to expand my mind and grow. Just like, you know, growing muscles and physical muscles, you need to kind of read more challenging material and stuff. And I have a group of friends now. Thankfully, I'm very blessed that, you know, that we can talk about these things together. And so I think that's another thing when you're trying to learn something, is to have a group of people that you can bounce ideas off of, and that also helps you internalize the information better. And the show helps me too, because I have to articulate my feelings, so it helps me with my rhetoric, you know, and all that stuff. So
Yes, I agree.
yeah.
Like, and like I said, it was so refreshing to hear you. I don't know when I first started listening to you, maybe last year sometime or whenever, but it was a while ago, and I was just like, wow, she's a diamond, because this is you're not going to see her every day, and you search high and low. Like, I'll be honest, like, I have certain conversations, especially since like the political climate is what it is right now, and I'm being honest. Black people, there's a couple of them that I can have a decent conversation with, but for the most part, it's a waste of time. It's just like everything is programmed. Everything
Yeah, I was about
is
to say it's
so
programming.
cookie cutter. I know Trump's bad, he's racist, that's racist. I know. You can't, everything that Don Lemonhead said is what they said. I already know what you think. Everything that Don Lemonhead said. You know, but I noticed that with people of other races, I have meaningful conversations with them.
Yeah.
They didn't kick me out because I said, yo, I like Trump.
Yeah.
I never liked Obama. I don't trust him. I never did trust him. You know? It's the black people that look at me funny, and it's certain white liberals.
Yeah.
That's just like, yo, he's got to get away.
Well,
Like, he has to go. Like,
the thing,
he's messing up the feng shui. Like,
yeah, the thing is too, you know, this has been politicized. That's the thing that's really annoying me too. Like, I was talking with one of my best friends the other day, and he's on the liberal side, and you know, it started with a conversation.
On the liberal side?
Yeah, he's on the liberal side, and it started with a conversation about the mask, and then we started talking about the president. But then I was thinking about it later. I'm like, I wasn't really even trying to talk about politics. But it's like it ended up being that way because people assume, if, you know, it seems like the people on the right are the ones that are interested in edifying themselves and knowing facts. Well, a lot of people on the left with the leftist ideology, they're just interested in regurgitating what the news says, you know?
Yes, yes, that's all it is. They don't care. Like I've learned a lot over this last, especially over the last 4 years. Like
Yeah.
certain friends and family members and stuff. Like I'm losing. It's really a period of awakening because
Mhm.
I'm losing respect for you that I don't know if I will ever gain it back. And certain friends and stuff like we still gonna be friends. I'm not writing you off like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. But
But some
you kind
shit,
of
I know
know.
that you don't know any better.
Yeah,
I
and
know
it's
they honestly don't know.
no, totally. And my
But some people, I'm watching them think it's just like I'm asking them to make a conscious decision, like, and I said like, yo, this is hatred now. This is evil you're doing because you know better, but just because you don't like someone or you're just gonna pick it almost out of hatred, just to be mean.
yeah, and
And
it's
I lose respect for you at that point.
yeah, yeah, and it's like I constantly talk about how this is a spiritual battle, and I think it's no coincidence that a lot of marriages and friendships are breaking up because this is a situation that's really showing people's true colors and who they are, and now you kind of have an idea like who's going to turn on you, who would sell you out in a situation like that. Um,
Oh
people's
yeah.
integrity, people's character is being revealed right now. Their moral
Mm-hmm.
standings, their cowardice, it's all being revealed right now.
I
And
have a friend. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no,
Go ahead.
I want to say this one thing, and I think I've talked about this in other videos, but I think there's a huge connection with the amount of shame and anger and lower vibration energies that people feel and how easily they're manipulated. Because if they have shame or anger or whatever, plus there are a lot of people that have done a lot of drugs. Whether it's like I call the
Mm-hmm.
white drugs like meth and stuff, and I really think that messes. Even if you're not doing them now, if you do them even on and off for a year for a period of time, like I've done weed, I've tried mushrooms, I haven't done a lot of experimenting with a lot of drugs, but I have friends that have, and I think that also just it kills your brain cells, it messes with your brains. Not only that, there are a lot of people that are on prescription medication that it messes with their brain too. SSRI drugs and antidepressants and stuff like that. It really messes with your head, not only killing your brain cells and messing with your synapses and stuff like that, but it also puts you in a lower vibration too, so you can be manipulated as well
Yeah,
by your
yes, yes,
emotions.
yes. Yep. I was going to say, I agree with what you said about, like certain things will put you on a lower vibration. I agree. I have a friend, I'm watching him and his wife, I guess they're breaking up, they're going through a divorce now since
Mhm.
this quarantine nonsense.
Mhm.
And his wife is, she doesn't believe in the mass. She doesn't, she's more on the conservative side.
Mhm.
She likes Trump. Him, he's like, he turned out to be like I want to say like a goofy liberal because he's over 40 years old,
Mhm.
you know? He has children, but the logic that he uses, like that liberal logic, is just like, you just want to look at him and be like, dog, man, I know why your wife has no respect for you right now. She's looking
Yeah.
at you like you're a clown. She's like, you believe anything that's just, anything that goes against common sense.
Yeah.
You roll with it. Like, you would see the logic, hear the logic, and say like, okay, the box says that the math don't work. The doctor, you hear the logic, and then you still like have no backbone and go right over there with the goofballs and put the mask on and say what they were saying and pretend. It's like and pretend like we didn't just have this conversation.
Yeah, I know. I
So
know.
I find that like when people do that, I'm just looking at you like I lose respect for you because you understood what was going on. You see what's going on, but then you're weak because you go right over here and fall right back in the
I
line.
know. I know.
Like I don't have no respect for that.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
I couldn't trust you when we part ways. I'm the type of dude like, look, if we doing something, I thought this is what we were doing. Like we don't eat meat. It doesn't mean that we only do it in front of each other and then when we step off, like, oh, all right, I'm getting a chicken sandwich because nobody's around. That's
Yeah,
corny.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like we're only doing it for people to for the when we're seen. Like that's corny.
Yeah.
I don't respect that. Like if we decided, okay, we're not eating meat, you're not gonna call and I got a burger in my hand. No, it's a veggie burger. If you call, like I'm sticking
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
script.
yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know we were out here. I didn't know we were out here to just fake it. I don't like that. So
Yeah, I know. I mean,
it's
yeah,
my spiel.
no, dude, I totally get it. You guys keep me sane too because, I have people now, but when I moved to Austin, I had some friends that were more on the liberal side, and now that's like, I didn't really realize how bad it was until this election, and I had to, well, a lot of them separated themselves from me because they were just like, well, I can't even like, like you're just not a human being if you like even give Trump any validity. And I started off not even a Trump supporter, you know, but I was just
Oh
trying
yeah,
to,
I've been kicked out of groups and unfollowed.
yeah, like I'm just like I started off. I started off trying to take the middle ground, and now I've realized there is no middle ground. This really is a war between good and evil. I don't even think it's really about politics anymore. It really is about,
No.
saving this country and the fight between good and evil. Because if this country goes down, then the rest of the world is going to follow. So
Yeah, it's good and evil. It's a fight. It's, for those who believe in God and the universe and that there's a yin and a yang, all
yeah,
that. Well, guess what? It has to come back. You can't have good if you don't have bad. It doesn't
yeah.
exist.
Well, what's happened is
if there's not an ugly person.
Right? Well, yeah, but there's
For real.
It's out of balance. The evil is out of balance right now. It's more evil.
Oh no. Evil's not out of balance. It's doing what it's supposed to do. This is nature. It's the end of the evil cycle. That's why we entered the age of Aquarius.
Okay.
Evil it's coming to an end. It's just like like Star Wars. Darth Vader he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
But guess what? We all know Luke Skywalker is going to win in the end. But it's a battle. Darth Vader just doesn't quit. He doesn't be like, all right, Luke, you got it. He fights to the end.
Oh, fuck, Luke, I'm tired. Whatever, Luke. All right, you got this one. Or you have this one,
he doesn't
Luke.
do that.
You have it.
You got to fight him to the end. The Joker doesn't just quit. Batman has to beat him up.
Yeah.
But we all know that Batman wins in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a fight. We're just watching the fight, and the fight is very. It's emotional. You go up, you go down.
It's emotional
because what happened? Get back, do something, Batman.
It's emotional though because it's affecting us too. It's affecting our family. It's affecting. I mean, there are people. We're talking about how we get mad at liberals and how, but you have friends and family members that are liberal that you love and that are good people. But it's just like you're seeing kind of like where they stand now, and it's just a lot of it's very disappointing when you see.
Yes, my friend that's getting divorced. I love him. He's my boy. That's my boy. 20 years. But, I'm not going to front. I'll tell him to his face. That shit gets on my nerves, that foolishness that you're talking.
Yeah.
Like, you're just repeating and regurgitating. You're not even thinking about something, and it gets on my nerves. And I can see how it gets on your wife's nerves, too.
Yeah, and it's sad because you're supposed.
You're still my boy. We still gonna chill and talk about other things.
And it's technically you're supposed to take your friend's side, but you're being a better friend by being honest about what you think and not kissing his ass. Because maybe you're planting seeds, Because if he's like, dang, if my boy is like taking my wife's side, then maybe I need to think about it, but then there's those people too that just double down and they're just like because they're prideful.
Oh yeah, no, that's him right now. He's doubling down. Like, yeah, you taking my wife's side. Like, I'm not vibing with her at all. So I don't listen to either one of you right now, and I get it. But I just say, I'm still going to say the truth. Like, it's just the truth. I'd rather tell you what I think is the truth than you look at me and be like, damn, you were just lying to me the whole time and just being a yes man, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be mad at me, you be mad at me. But like my mother told me, same clothes you got mad in, you'll get happy in.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm gonna use that. Same clothes you get mad and you'll get happy, and that's brilliant. Your mom's a genius. I love it.
Oh. I'm gonna tell her you said so.
All right. Well, I guess.
And look, my mother said, she's like, yo, she can't talk to me either because she's very liberal. So she's just like, yo, where did you get this from?
Yeah. But you know what? Let me let you go. I need to take these other calls. We talked for a long time. I'm glad that. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes.
You're an awesome father. Keep it up. Your daughter will thank you and be so happy when she gets older.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day, and you're not alone.
Okay. Thank you. Much love to you, brother. Bye. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, yes, this is Jason from New York.
Hey,
Sorry to
Jason.
call you.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm great.
I'm fine, thank you. I just want to let you know, like, you know why the liberals don't like President Trump, the real reason? They don't like the fact that he's a white man, a white Christian man who has no white guilt. Because remember, they're liberals, they want white people to be guilty. Like, you're racist, you're the devil, you're imperialist, you're supposed to be guilty. And President Trump isn't like that.
Yeah.
And the thing about white liberals they don't like because climate change. He's not for climate change. He's not for the Al Gore type climate change shit. Because he pulled out the Paris Accord. They hate him for that. Black people, they don't like him because the law enforcement. He supports the police, the law enforcement.
Yeah.
And for my people, Latinos, they don't like because the immigration, because they see a white man taking brown people away. So that's why they call him racist. And those two, he doesn't say America is a nation of immigrants because he says the truth. Like, they came from England, they did settlements, they built a nation. Like, that's what he said, and they don't like that he said that. You see?
Yeah.
That's why they don't like him. That's why they don't like him. Reason. And then and another thing too, it's just like, I mean, the liberals are crazy. They're worse than conservatives. But conservatives are full of shit too. Remember, look how they are when they act in front of Candazoan.
Yeah.
So they're full of shit too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see how they all.
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, it's just people, though. You just got to remember that they're people. So I mean, we
Exactly.
are kind of taking sides, but at the end of the day, I just think that where everything is falling right now, I agree more with the rights policies.
Oh yeah,
and what they're doing.
Me too.
But I mean, give it time, and they keep, they can be corrupted just as easily. It doesn't. Your political party doesn't make you immune to corruption. It doesn't make you immune to being evil or immune to being a bad person.
Exactly. Yeah, because the thing is because I used to be a Candace Owens fan. I used to love Candace Owens before, and the thing is, I first found out the truth about Candace Owens is through Andy Worski, right? Andy Worski revealed the truth first, and then he shared the link to Tree of Logic, and I saw Tree of Logic from there, and then I was watching it, and I wanted to forgive Candace. I wanted to forgive her because I was a Candace Owens fan, and then I wrote to her in Messenger, and she told me oh, you believe their lies and everything. I told Candace, just show the evidence that they're wrong, prove it, and then she never proved it. And then another thing, and then what broke the camel's back with me, the Dave Rubin episode with her and Blair White. And then conservatives still accept her to this day. That's when I realized they're full of shit too.
Yeah, it's funny because I think a lot of people just don't. I really don't want to talk about stuff, but I'll just say
I'm sorry.
But I just want to say I think a lot of people, just in general, because we'll just talk about general why I think people do say they're hypocrites in that instance, but I think that a lot of people they're scared because they see how evil. They're just like, okay, we're in a war. The people that know she did the stuff that she did, they're willing to forgive her because they think that she's out there fighting for us, and we need somebody that is relentless on our side as the left. And in a sense, I don't agree with that. You know how I feel about that, but
me too.
But I would like, I do agree to that conservatives they need more people that are in your face like that and as vicious you have to fight fire with fire. Because, a lot of the conservatives are very nice, they're very polite.
Yeah.
And in their head, they're like, they're like, oh, I'm going to be like a better person, because I'm taking the higher ground. But some people need to be cursed out, because I feel like, I like to think of myself, I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty cool. Even when I have the math stories and I talk about my experiences going into stores, I'm not, I'm not really mean to the people that have to enforce it because I understand that they're doing their job. But I'm just strong in my
Yeah.
stance, I'm strong
Yeah.
in what I believe. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna put one on. I'm not like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
put one on, you dumb motherfucking ass sheep. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
could be like that. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
They're probably gonna take me as being mean and difficult to them, but I'm just like, I'm looking out for myself as well. And I don't attack them personally. I don't attack them physically.
Yeah.
But
You know what's so crazy?
go on.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Nah, you know what's so crazy? A liberal, you tell to a liberal, they call you the cry. They
Oh
call
yeah,
you a
they
crybaby.
just
You don't wanna-
project though. That's what people do. Somebody said it perfectly to you when they accuse you of being a conspiracy theorist. You know what they're saying? She put it. She's like, you know what they're really
Yeah.
saying? They're saying that they're jealous of you for being as brave as they wish they could be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'll
that's
just
the
take
thing,
it
though.
like
It's
that.
just like, I mean, the liberals are crazy, but the thing is, like, they have power. That's why they act crazy, because they have power.
Yeah, they have power.
Conservatives will act the same way, too.
They have power in
Because- and think about
academia and the media, and what was the other one? Media, academia, and
the education and
academia.
TV
Yeah,
you watch is by liberals.
yeah. It's the education system. Which is academia, and then Hollywood. I think there was one more axis that I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
That they kind of like dominate. But that's why I'm getting into
Yeah.
music, and I wanna basically be a strong arm in the culture war because I mean I really
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing this. I have this channel and stuff, and I'm loving it, and but at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm a creative person. I'm an artist. I feel like that's where I really belong, and I feel
Yeah.
like it's very powerful to be on that arm too because
Yeah.
there's lots of the culture war, especially with the kids and everything that's going up. Everybody. You
Mhm.
speak to somebody. So I'm reading this book now called "The Power of Music," the secret power of music. And how music has been
Yeah.
transformative, all over the world,
Yeah,
all throughout
exactly.
cultures. How,
Oh, yeah,
how
of course.
emperors, this Chinese emperor was talking about like how he didn't even let any kind of music in his kingdom without
Yeah.
like analyzing it first, because he knew that it had the
Yeah.
power to sway people's thoughts and hypnotize
Yeah.
them and stuff like that. It's fascinating and it's true. I really do.
Yeah.
Music can change
Yeah.
plants. Music can change chromosomes. Music can change
Oh,
water.
yeah, of course.
Music can form. If you ever seen cymatics and how it can form, so you really have to think about why the Illuminati and all these people are dominating Hollywood too, because they know. And if you think about it, that's what's got people so entranced is basically propaganda. There's facts.
Exactly.
The facts is that they have no scientific evidence about asymptomatic transmission. It
Yeah.
wasn't based on any study or anything. It was all based on assumption. Then they come out and say, oh, the World Health Organization comes out and
Yeah.
says that it's rare that you
think
can-
about these.
wait, let me finish the thought real fast. It's rare, right?
sorry, go ahead.
Yet the media is still pushing commercials over and over 24/7 saying, oh, you may have COVID and not know it and you can transmit it to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So the propaganda is stronger than the actual facts and the actual science. And that's what's really ripping this country apart is the flipping media and their propaganda.
Oh, yeah, of
and
course.
how they're censoring people,
Oh, yes, of
they're
course.
not letting the other side being told, and they're putting their propaganda over facts.
Exactly. 100% correct. With me, with the media, I stopped watching fake news long before Donald Trump even ran for president.
Yeah, me too.
So, like, since 2010, 2011, I was already watching. I was watching that Russian-American news channel called RT America.
Oh, yeah,
So
I
I used
watched
to be
that,
a fan
yeah.
of Abby Martin.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
And then I started watching that, and they were talking about the fake news like that. This was long before Donald Trump even ran for
Yeah,
president.
I was disappointed in her too. Like, I think she does good work. I think she's actually good. But then she also pissed me off because she was talking about people that believed in chemtrails and she called them idiots, and that pissed me off. That really pissed me off.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
I was like,
I didn't like her anymore for that
yeah,
reason.
yeah. I
used
think
to be a
that's when
fan
I
of her
really,
before, and
yeah, I think that's when I really stop, especially knowing
Me
that
too.
there's evidence, it's called geoengineering. You can look it up. There's so much evidence to prove that it exists and why it's doing it. There have been commissions that have actually exposed this information if people want to look. And I know that she has a potential to do research and check it out. So I was thinking, is she compromised or she's just being lazy? I just expected more out of her. And, I think she did a lot of great work exposing a lot of Zionism stuff. And she's, she's courageous. I don't know if I can go over there and be like, stand in the east and almost get shot and killed and blown up like she did. So I still have some respect for her, but I just I just can't. You gotta like there are a lot of people that I've lost respect for and maybe even gained respect back and gone back and forth or whatever. But you gotta just kind of take knowledge from people, and then if they say something you don't like or don't agree with and they disappoint you, you gotta like you just gotta kind of thank them, be like, what, thank you, I followed you up until this point, but I'm gonna go somewhere else now. I don't feel like I can get anything from you anymore, But Jason, let me take this other call. I will talk to you later. Thanks for calling. Okay, bye-bye. Hello?
Hi, this is Truth or Talk, right?
Yeah, what's up? Who is this?
I go by Cerebral Pisces on YouTube. I'm a professional musician based in Colorado.
Cerebral Pisces?
Yeah, Cerebral Pisces.
Oh, that's a cool name. I can't even spell
Pisces.
S-C-I-E-S. Okay. What's up? Go on.
I just tuned in and was listening to your talk about music. And as a musician, I gotta fully agree with everything you're talking about with how music is hypnotizing. The whole hypnoticness and just the power of it. I really like the comments you're talking about, with, I believe it was the guy from China, the emperor, just amazing work you're doing. I just wanted to, thank you.
Thank you. And this is just, I'm only like 20 pages in. I'm like, oh my God. I don't have the book with me. It's in the bedroom, but, if you want to look it up, it was on, you can probably get a used copy on Amazon. It's called The Secret Power of Music.
I wonder if I've got that one. I'll have to look around. I've got so many books on music to esotericism, math and mysticism. So
yeah,
I'll have to go through my giant collection. It's hard to get through it all.
It's fascinating, right? It's fascinating. And I know the description was talking about, music has the power to change chromosomes. And I was just like, you know what? I didn't even think about that. Because I know that energy and Masaru Emoto, that guy, the Japanese guy?
Yeah.
That did so I'm going to just tell the people that are watching who he is. So Masaru Emoto is this Japanese scientist who actually did this experiment on water. And he basically had the ice cube, the water frozen, and then they took photographs of the crystals. And if he was he sent energy to the water saying, but verbal, right? You're speaking to the water. So you're like, I hate you, you're ugly, you're stupid. The formation of the crystals would be broken and, not good. Really ugly looking, right? Really asymmetrical. But then for the water that he did he would I love you, you're amazing, then the crystals would be perfectly shaped and equidistant and harmonious, and then you can even do the experiment yourself where you take 3 jars of rice and one rice you curse out, one jar of rice you curse out, the second jar of rice you every day, you do this every day. The second jar of rice, you hug it, you send love to it, blah, blah, blah. And the third jar of rice, you don't do anything to it. And by the end of the 30 days, the jar of rice that you sent love to, it stays white, while the other one that you sent hate to stays black. And the other one that you didn't do anything to also stays black. So, yeah.
It's a reminiscence of the series they do with psionics, where you take a sheet of glass or something, and you put that surface on top of a speaker, and then you'll start with a certain frequency.
Yes,
and as you increase that frequency, the sand will form into geometric shapes.
Yes, I was talking about the other day, cymatics, right? It's like
Yeah.
cymatics.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's crazy. But then you can tie that into like the monks and how they or the chanting, right, and the Gregorian chants. Like there's certain. It seems like all cultures like knew this, right? Like the power of sound and how it can be used to transform things, and how sound can also transform your brain waves. Like this is scientific stuff. Like I'm not even like pulling this out of my ass. Like this is real stuff, right? Like sounds. So huh?
it goes all the way back. I mean, you can track this stuff back to Pythagoras, to the Egyptians. I mean, we can go to any like ancient culture, and they tie, sacred geometry within their sound meditation. It's the same reason, like as you're saying, with the monks, they will sit in these giant singing bowls, and one monk will walk around with this like wooden spool, and they will vibrate that, and they will sit there and meditate on that. And I can say to anybody, go put on like a very kind of binaural beat or solfeggio frequency, right? And you sit and listen to that for a little bit and just let your mind wander, and you'll instantly start to kind of like ground yourself and become calm. And
dude, I do that when I have to write now. I'll get like there's some YouTube stuff that I found, and it helps me to focus, So it helps me to focus and stay kind of stay on track. And also what I've been trying to do now is been trying to turn the internet off before I go to bed, and just like I find this really good one that's like a sound bath with the crystal bowls and stuff, and it helps me to like center and just like kind of detox from all the stuff, It's very powerful. It's very powerful. But there's so many tools on this earth that are very, very simple, and that can make us very independent. But of course, it's hidden from us, right? We don't need all of these medications. We don't need these vaccines and all this shit. If we just understood these simple principles, then we can basically take care of ourselves. And that's a huge secret that they don't want us to figure out, I would say. So.
Well, tying it in like this whole thing with vibrations and say like the whole COVID mask thing. When you go in front of a doctor and they smile to you and they're acting more empathetic to you, you'll heal faster. You like pick up that loving vibration from them. You can feel it on your body that they're not just like looking at you as some kind of like, oh, here, I'm going to just write this little piece of paper and go home and take this drug. Usually the people that improve like a lot faster are those that have empathetic care. And when you remove even like a face, you might not think that a smile causes vibration like out of your own body, but just as you're saying, you talk to the water, right? Just make even thoughts. Your conscious thoughts vibrate.
Dude, but that's another reason. That's another reason I'm against the mask too, because of the connection that it's making us lose with each other. That's so important, And and now when I go to doctors, and I look for a doctor, I really look for a doctor that I can have a partnership with, that we can talk to each other, and not like I'm a doctor and I'm better than you and I'm smarter than you, but hey, I'm a doctor. I'm trying to say, hey, I'm a doctor. What can we work on together? How can we heal together, right? Instead of that whole like hierarchical. I don't know if I'm saying it hierarchical. I know there's a way I'm like mispronouncing it. Relationship there, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, no, I get you. Absolutely. I mean, well, any form of relationship you would have with like someone that's in a form of science, that's doing any form of like medical work. I mean, the more you feel like you are loved, the more like you're going to be accepting to like the healing process and stuff. The more you feel like you're an experiment and like you're just going into this sterile room, the more uncomfortable, the more stressed, the more anxiety induced the body becomes. That's why people dread going to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's not. You go in there and you just like you can smell. I can't remember. I think it's Virstyne is what they use, and that's like a very powerful antibacterial, antiviral compound they use, and it has a certain smell. So every hospital will have a certain scent because of the chemicals that they constantly use to keep it, clean.
It's so gross. I can smell the chemicals. And when I was a medical courier, That was the thing too. Just it's weird because generally speaking, I think it does attract people that like people and they want to help people. So for the most part, I did have a positive experience with people. And, even if I'm like looking for something or I need to deliver, everybody would, if they could, they would stop immediately what they were doing and try to help me. Very, very sweet, very nice. But, since this COVID stuff hit, it was just the tension was just really high. It was just, it wasn't the same. And I'm just thinking too. I thought about that too. I'm like, in an environment where people needs to heal, these lies aren't really making things better for people. It's just making things worse. Especially you're covering up, people's mouths. You have patients and you're reducing their oxygen level. You're supposed to exhale stuff. Not exhale it and breathe it back in. It's not just, and then you're harboring bacteria and then you're cutting off people's faces. So, you can't really connect with each other. I was like, it was fucking hell, dude. It was fucking hell. I was praying to God. I was like, knock on wood. I was like, God, please, I hope I don't get in an accident where I have to go to the hospital or something, because it would just be fucking hell.
Yeah, talking to one of my friends, she's she's becoming a dental hygienist. She already, has really excelled in her schooling on physiology and everything about teeth.
Who?
And she had to put a halt on it. Her name, it's a friend of mine that,
a friend, okay.
She works for, emergency dental, procedures, right? And she was showing me that, she knows that, COVID's pretty much a scam. And she was basically showing me the new amount of masks they got to wear. She doesn't have to wear one mask. You have to wear, multiple layers in this, ridiculous face shield. And she was talking to me about how uncomfortable this thing was. And I was like, okay, well, does come a point where if you make someone who's doing very articulate little, incisions, cuts on your teeth, or they're trying to get in between the gums and scrape, you want them to be comfortable because they're doing something that takes finite motor skills, all right? Mm-hmm. And if they mess up and they, jam your gum on accident while they're cleaning, even if they give you an antibiotic, that can get streptococcus down in between your gums. And you'll get necrophysiitis, or necrotizing fasciitis, excuse me.
Well, dude, and it's like, this is why the medical industry is the third leading cause of death, because of shit like this. Because they don't use critical thinking, and they follow orders, and they prescribe shit, and they don't really think things through. And it's so they don't do preventative care. They just prescribe. There's even, I thought you were going to say this when you were talking about your friend being a dental hygienist, but there's also a new condition that's been diagnosed as mask mouth, where people have been, the masks are actually rotting people's teeth and giving them bacterial infections in their mouth. Halitosis, bacteria infection, weakening their dental structure, because, and they're seeing it from people that are having to wear a mask when they work. And I'm just waiting for the lawsuits to come out, because I know there are going to be many when people start putting together.
There's got to be. I mean, I keep thinking of all the different unethical practices.
Not even based on science, not even based on any scientific data or studies.
Right.
That goes against science, actually. There's actually, I've seen some where they're trying to say, oh, it's good for you, but I've seen more where it basically shows that this mask shit is basically worse for your health. I knew somebody that their daughter got, I don't know, it's called P or something, this P, I don't know, Peruria, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but she actually got a lung infection from wearing the mask, because the mask harbor bacteria. If you've ever seen that scientific experiment that they try and show, oh, this is like the mask that catches the germs, and see, the mask prevents the germs from going anywhere. I'm like, you idiots, that's fucking bacteria. Bacteria is going to be bigger than the host, so the mask is going to actually harbor bacteria, and the viruses are still going to slip through. So you're harboring bacteria, it's stopping bacteria, but you're breathing that back in. You're going to make people sicker. It's just so retarded, dude. I just can't.
I agree. So you put this covering over your face, right? And so then you're creating the perfect conditions actually for bacteria to grow. It's warm, you're giving it moisture, right? And you're constantly giving it more different things for the bacteria to feed off of, because you're breathing more bacteria. So they're feeding off of different things, particles in your mouth, I mean, as an instrumentalist, after playing saxophone and stuff, if I didn't brush my teeth prior, I could see how much stuff, particles. You don't even think about this, right?
I used to play the flute. Yeah, I know, totally. You gotta wash your mouthpiece and shit. You know, like, when you fucking turn your saxophone or your woodwind over and like the fucking saliva comes out. It's so gross, right? You gotta like
Right.
you gotta clean your reed and shit or change your reed, because of that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But it
Yeah,
also makes me think of, like, say, a trumpet, right? And they have all the spit valves. And I always laugh, and they're like, oh, it'll spread through, like, COVID will spread through the trumpet. And I'm like, well, let's talk about this. You're sending a bunch of hot air through metal that's cold, and you're condensing the air back down into liquid, which is why you have 3 to 4 spit valves on a trumpet, usually maybe 3, I guess, depending on the higher-end model. And, like, you will dump loads of saliva out of that thing.
yeah.
All right, so if the aerosol droplets were not condensing in that instrument, you wouldn't have a bunch of liquid forming in there, right?
Yeah.
So that would mean that there would be very little aerosol particles coming out of that trumpet. You'll have air, but it condenses down, right?
Yeah.
It's the same way our refrigerators work, in a sense.
Wow,
It blows my mind.
You're really smart.
I've been actually meaning to get in contact with you because as a musician, I've worked between, there's a place out here in Colorado in Denver called Track Center. It's like the biggest gay club out here, right? So I've worked with, and I'll be honest, I at one point in my life identified as being gay, and I know you've gone into this about the mental illness associated with being, that we grow up through, like you end up getting abused in some way, whether it's, by another adult or another kid, or you come across like a pornographic magazine or something, you don't know what you're looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
You end up going through this whole thing. But the interesting talk I heard, about, I think it was maybe a month ago, you're going into all that whole mental health issues and how none of us ever get a chance or a voice to speak. And if someone like me normally would come out, the rest of those people would viciously attack me and say, you're attacking the LGBTQ XYZ,
Yeah.
But music and that whole thing, and I don't mean to jump topics.
Okay,
at some point, I'd like to come on the show and really go into details psychologically, about all the stuff I studied, because I've worked with people high up in the FBI. We built the dispensaries out here, and so I was around a lot of intelligent people, all picking my brain, wanting to know how I understood a lot of things about pedophiles and things like that. So at some point, it'd be nice to we'll have a conversation. I'll update you by email.
Yeah. info@truthertalk.com. Just info@truthertalk.com. So.
Let me grab a piece of paper so I can write that down.
Yeah, no, but that's interesting. Yeah. I want to say I don't know if it's necessarily mental illness. I think we were talking. Jenny was on because Jenny Red Pill Rage is gay, or she's bisexual, right? So she was. I think that's when we were talking about it. I didn't really feel comfortable talking about it, me being a straight person, but I wanted to say I've had a lot of gay friends, and I watched them struggle with being who they are, and I just wish this information was out there to them, and maybe they'd have a better time, processing why they are the way they are, or I think this information, and then if they just have the information to be given another side to things, they can reject it or they can accept it. But I just think it's wrong for this information to be hidden from them, because I think they're really people that want to work through this and understand. Because it's not just, from what I understand, from my experience, from what I've observed, it's not just people discriminating against gay people, but they also have internal issues, for that I've seen, where it's like, I can't have kids. I can't procreate with somebody that I love. And why am I this way? I know that I'm not, quote unquote, normal, or, I don't know. Does that make sense? No,
it does. I literally, it was like a week after you had done, the podcast on that, or on your show. And I had gone on a backpacking trip, and I was with a bunch of people, that one of them was on the fence about the whole COVID thing and everything going on in the world. And then a bunch of them were completely convinced that, everything that's on the TV is exactly as it is, just plain black and white, right?
Yeah.
And I started having a conversation with them about my experiences when I was younger, and how, I used to be really depressed about that I couldn't procreate, that the only way I knew that I could actually really, intimately have my own genes in a spiritual fashion is if I were to go, a woman. So it did disturb me back in the day, and I never had that voice of explaining that. And so when I tried to explain that to some of my friends, they completely looked like at me like I was crazy, and they were like, I don't understand. You can go do artificial simulate, or excuse me, a little bit of too much pot last night, alcohol, but artificial simulation, and you can go down all these different routes. And I'm like, no, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
You don't understand. Like, it wouldn't be, you know, there's a feeling, I've messed around with, you know, both sexes, and there's a different feeling I get spiritually when I, like, have done things with a woman versus when I've done things with a man as well. So there's all these other, like, things people don't even think about that the human body can experience. And I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if anybody else in the community will ever talk about kind of certain things like that, but, you know, I don't know. There's a lot to it. And yeah, I really appreciate that you're giving people like me at least a voice to say, like, yeah, it's painful. There's a lot of things that it takes to grow as an individual, you know, ground yourself and realize, hey, it's okay. You know, just embrace reality, continue living life, find out what's going to make you happy,
Yeah.
you know,
sure.
and just understand. And, you know, through understanding, there is healing, you know, but yeah, all the time it pops up my brain that I want to, like, yeah, I would love to, you know, raise my own physical blood child, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I don't know, like, you know what I think it is too? It's like, I remember learning that, you know, homosexuality was in the DSM, and then people associate the DSM with insanity. So I think when people say that, you know, oh, it's maybe a mental illness, right? Then they associate that with it being broken, and that something is wrong with them, and that it's their fault that they're the way they are. And that's why I think there's a lot of rejection too, because nobody wants to think that they're broken or something is wrong with them, or it's their fault, you know. But then I think these last few years since it's funny, I've talked about my show, but I've just had more people, whether in private, some of my gay friends in private, we've talked about this, or whether on the show, is that like there's such a high correlation between molestation and homosexuality. And I really didn't start putting that together until the last few years. And I remember when one of my friends who ended up being gay at the time, she wasn't even out, but this was like when I was in college, and she was just like, yeah, I think gay people are like that because they were molested. And I was so offended. I was like, no, it's not. It's, you know, they're that way because they're just that way.
I mean,
like, you know what I mean? I would just be like, why would you say something like that, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't, like, that's retarded. Like, you know, but then she ended up being gay, and it's because she was molested. So I was like, oh, you know, that's why she thought that.
You got to think about the human body as it's growing, like both women and men, you know, boys and girls, you know, and as adolescents, your body's already probing. You know, you are probing to find not only your purpose on this place, but where you fit in, you know, what are you attracted to, and what you get exposed to early on. And a lot of people may argue with me on this, but, you know, this is from doing a lot of self-analyzation of myself, along with a lot of studies in psychology. But what you get exposed to does affect you, and your body is going through all these chemical changes. You know, your body's preparing for its adulthood, right? I mean, and this all begins even in the womb. I mean, you can look at studies from the Judge Hunger study, right, where women in their third trimester were being starved to death during World War II, and the babies' bodies, their fetuses, were learning about their environment outside, to the cortisone levels in their mom's blood, to the heartbeat. The first thing you hear, actually, if you go back to sound, is your mother's heartbeat. So everything in your body, whether your mom's going through all that stress and her heartbeat is raised and everything, it's telling your body how to, like, deal with the environment. How much nutrients am I getting? Is there enough food for me to survive?
Plus xenoestrogens, right, and all this other stuff in the water and in the foods and stuff. And if you think about it simply, you know, you think about stuff too. Okay, well, if we give hormones to people so they can transition into being an opposite sex, if these hormones are being taken over a period of years, you know, wouldn't that also affect people and their sexuality as well? You know, these same hormones, that these xenoestrogens that are in our environment, you know, at a higher rate. It couples with teaching kids about sexuality when they're in school, you know, and being open, and now the stuff that they're teaching school about, you know, and fisting and stuff. I'm so glad I'm not a teacher anymore and had to teach that stuff. I probably would have had to quit. I don't want to teach sexuality to 5-year-old kids, you know. Like kids don't even like their mom kissing them on the cheek when they're that old. They think that's gross, And I'm supposed to go in
Yeah,
and teach
no,
people
well,
about fisting and being a tranny and that it's okay to wear a dress, you know?
Well, I
It's
mean, we
terrible.
all,
I mean,
you can think
a
of like,
dress when you're a kid, you know, whatever you want to do when you're older, it's fine. But you know, when you're 5, 6 years
as long as
old.
you're not a parent like what that one, the parents like Desmond is amazing, forcing their child to like go through all that, and
Yeah, that's child
I mean,
abuse.
to
That's
me,
child abuse.
it doesn't seem none of that seems organic. I mean, I'm sure you saw the interview when he's with that one sex offender, and they're like, "What's your favorite thing to do?" And the kid like takes his hand and puts it up to his mouth or his nose, and then like he's doing a
No.
bump of cocaine,
Oh my
and he says
God.
ketamine.
No.
He literally, Desmond Amazing says, "I love ketamine," and he does like a rail on his hand, and then everyone immediately. I think Jeff C was one of the people that really got that out, and he was like
Could you
showing
send
it,
that
and I
to
was just
me?
like
When
flabbergasted.
you email me, could you send it to me? I have not seen that. But you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
I was kind of poking around, and I saw this mom that let her child transition when he was a kid. So they were just giving him hormones and stuff. And now he's a teenager, and he doesn't want to be a girl anymore, and he wants to transition back. But now he has breast. He has breast at 15,
Right.
and he's you know, and his jawline hasn't really hardened. He has really soft features and stuff, facial features like a girl. But now he's just like, oh well, and I'm just like, you know, he doesn't have a father, and I wonder if he was just saying that because he didn't have a father around, and he just idolized his mom because there was no man around. You know, I just wonder what, and I wonder if he did have a father, if that wouldn't have even been an issue. You know, but
Well,
she let him
so
do that. Go on.
it's really interesting. So one of my best friends, his dad, in the middle of like after I think his baby brother was born. I think my best friend was 5 when this happened. His dad comes up to his Christian mother and says, "I'm a transgender," and then goes and gets the whole operation, everything, and ditches the kids and never comes back. So my friends were traumatized by their dad ditching them and like saying like, "This was never for me. I shouldn't have had the children." All this it was really bizarre, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was always curious because this is my friend, my close friend he was heavily obsessed with psychology. You know, he was getting his degree in that, and eventually he went into analytics, which really helps us with this COVID stuff. And he'll look at the graph and instantly be like, "No, like let me break down how they're lying to you." But going back to his raising, both him and his brother, the two older brothers, both have a little bit of like feministic tics. And so it's easier for me to get along when I was younger with them because they had a little bit more understanding of where I was coming from because of their experiences as children. They would be a little bit more open because of their father. Granted, there's a lot of pain there because they were ditched. They know that they were never held again. Their bodies know this, they emotionally know this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've done a great job of giving themselves therapy and doing whatever they could to just grow up normally and become very good let me take that back. But they grew up as average masculine men, right? They didn't. I try not to. I don't want to offend anybody in the community. It's weird, I'm not. I don't want to censor myself, but at the same time, I want to be polite.
Yeah. I know.
But I was always worried about them because those kind of experiences do open the doors for you to be, when you're younger, you'll be I guess the age of experimentation, that might change your perspective,
Yeah, for sure. It does. I think there's some chakra stuff,
family, a wholesome family.
Yeah, no, speaking of like, esoteric stuff, I'm pretty sure there's like chakra energy centers too, because you're messing with, that lower chakra, the sexual chakra at a very young age. So I feel like kind of,
right.
It might like throw the compass off. I don't know, maybe compass isn't the correct word, but I think that's kind of like, what's going on. But I'm gonna take one more caller. Let me just I know there's somebody else.
I'll go ahead.
Yeah. Please email me info@truthertalk.com. Let's connect, and then send me that also that link to that video you were telling me about. So.
Yeah, I will get that to you. You have a lovely day, and thank you for having me.
You too. Thank you for calling. All right, I'll take one more caller, guys.
Yep. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, okay. Hello?
Virstyne?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, what's up? It's Andrew. I don't know if you recognize me.
Yes, you're the illustrator.
Yeah, I'm the illustrator.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well. What's going on? What you want to talk about?
Oh wow. Okay. How much time do we have? How much time do you have?
About 15 minutes or so.
50 minutes?
I know
Okay.
I should be cutting people off, but I just had I had interesting callers today. So I know people get mad, but I think, we'll talk, fine. I didn't do a timer today, but yeah, go. What do you want to go?
So I want to talk to you about something about the new mandates that are going on in this whole second wave. But before I get to that, actually, I wanted to say something about the last caller that I think is he or the other viewers might find interesting. You might find interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't okay. So basically, he was talking about his experience and his identity with being gay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to make a statement that some people might find, well, it's your channel, Truth or Talk, so I don't think anyone's going to find this, shocking. But I think that it is like this idea of being gay is an illusion. And, I say this, it's kind of like the same way that I say to a lot of people that I think that being like people who say my allegiance is to other Black Americans, to other Black people, or with other white Americans, like that's an illusion. Because if you're American, then your yoke is with other Americans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Go on. Finish, and then I'll comment.
And then it's not illegal. It's not with illegal immigrants. It's not just with white people. It's other Americans, because these are the people that share the same nationality as you, and so they pull from the same culture. And there's an ecosystem there that has to be maintained. And when those silos are created, that's when things start to fall apart. So if they wanted their yoke to be with other people of the same cultural and ethnic background, then my advice would be to find out where you came from and go back there, instead of, or maybe even create a community, but don't try to pull apart the fabric of what it means to be from where you are, especially in North America, because the Western nations have such it's so particular.
Well, I'm commenting based on my experience. I have a lot of gay friends, and watching, them, what they've gone through. First of all, I think, when people are gay, they're not really choosing it consciously. They're not attracted to people of the opposite sex. And I know a lot of people that have tried to be straight or try to live a straight life, and it's been torturous for them because they really want to not have to go through that. But I think, with the whole, you're saying, when you're saying in a solution, I think maybe you might be referring to I see the same game run in the Black community as that's run in the gay community, where there's this culture, right, that has formed. And, it's based around stereotypes. If you're gay, you have to go to the club, you have to dress this way, you have to talk with a lisp. If you're a guy, if you're a woman, you have to be all butch and have short hair. They're all of these, kind of things that have been drawn out for them, that they feel like they have to conform to in order to be part of the community. And it's a lot of people feel like they need that community because they can't be, when they're honest about being gay, a lot of people get abused, they get their ass beat, they get kicked out of their families. So because they're human beings and we want family, we gravitate toward that community. And it's okay, well, at least this community is going to accept me for being gay. So I'm going to have to, but I'm still going to have to maybe do stuff that I want to. For instance, I know gay men that aren't really feminine, and they'll be attacked by other gay people for not being gay enough because they're not feminine gay guys. Or they're they don't like going to the club. They're I like football. They're oh, but you need to go to the club. It's just this whole, just kind of so I'm saying bleeding black. You gotta talk a certain way. You gotta a certain kind of music. You kind of do that. So I think I think the illusion comes from the false sense of community, because I don't think that they're making up being gay, and I don't think that they're like,
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's just like
yeah,
the
I know.
culture. The culture is an illusion, I would say,
I
right? I
know.
don't. Is that what you're trying to say? Like that more
Um,
so, or
I understand that, and I think you're completely right in that. But on a deeper level, and okay, on a deeper level, I think that um, basically, I think that the fact that people even identify as being gay is an illusion, and I think that they're kind of what would you call it? It's really old, actually. It's really old, and as far as I have seen, it goes back to like the Roman culture, whereas where they would engage in like pederasty and also homosexuality. But if someone went past a certain age and they continued engaging in homosexuality, that would become like part of their identity, how people would identify them. And so I think that people have kind of it's become the understanding has become twisted because truthfully we do live in an over sexualized state. Like our world is very and we're very polarized to believe that the things that we do sexually define who we are, which is untrue because it makes no sense. It's not like poverty doesn't define who I am, even though I'm not rich. And it's like my skin color doesn't make me who I am. The way that I sleep at night doesn't make me who I am. And I think that, just because we're actually, well, for me, I don't believe that people are really supposed to be so revelatory and outspoken about their sex life, something that's so really
it's intimate.
It's so deep. It really does go so deep, and I think that for me, the way that I understand it is that there's these two different things. There's attraction, and then there's affection, and then there's sexual pursuit, and those three things are different. And I think because I used to really when I was younger, I saw gay porn, and then from there I was like, oh wow, like maybe I am, maybe I'm not, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But what I realized is that attraction, it's okay to find something or someone attractive, because attraction is not an inner quality. It's an external quality of another object. So something about another object you have to find that first attractive, and just because you find it attractive doesn't mean that you have to pursue it in a sexual way. And it's almost the same thing with affection, because everyone wants to be affectionate. You know what I mean? Everyone wants touch, everyone wants pleasure, but that pleasure doesn't always have to go through a sexual channel.
Yeah, and I think our society has basically been primed for that. And I have a couple friends right now. We've been talking about pornography too, and how that like zaps our energy. And she read a really good article, or she was telling me about this article that and they were talking about like how, they feel another reason why a lot of the men in particular aren't speaking up is because porn, it zaps your energy, it zaps your spiritual energy, So in our society where sex has been very, it's not, I don't think it's supposed to be an intimate thing between whoever you're having sex with, but it's been so like normalized to be open and crass about it. And then I had a friend, we were just talking last night, and he said that he had this friend that used to do porn, and at the time it was good and she was making money, but he's like, now she's in serious therapy about it, because of how I think it has something to do with your spirit. I really do. Sex can be great, right? It could be invigorating. It could be wonderful, beautiful thing. But then if it's inverted, it can also be a negative thing too. And like sexualizing kids and videos and in you know in our culture. It really is having a negative effect in our society.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know that's so interesting because the other day I was on this website. Hold on, let me see. I'm just gonna hold on.
Okay.
I was on a website called NoFap.
No what?
Called NoFap, NOFAP.
FAT? No fat?
NoFap, FAP.
NOFAP. A P is in prank.
Yeah.
Okay. No fat.
And basically, what it is, it's a community of mostly like young men. There's women on it too, and basically they are recovering from the effects that, like, I guess overexposure or overconsumption of pornography and masturbation in tandem has had on them.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so funny because something that I find there is that they can see that, you know, even though pornography and masturbation brings them pleasure, they understand that it's not good.
Yeah.
Especially in that overconsumption that they have. They're basically reaping the consequence of what they sown.
Yeah.
And what I found really, really funny is that in other cases, they can't separate it from they can't separate it in other instances. And I'm only going to bring this back. Just because it's part of a bigger picture. Because in the same way, like I remember I read something about a man. He said that he developed an attraction to little boys. And there were other men on the forum affirming him and saying, you know, this might be who you are. This might just be who you are.
Right?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how can they understand that pleasure doesn't always dictate goodness, and pleasure doesn't always dictate what's right for a person?
Mm-hmm.
And I find that in a larger scope, you know, it's used as a weapon against us.
Yeah.
You know, it's very strange.
Well,
like,
it's like you know, I mean, I'm not trying to cheapen it, but I was just talking about food the other day with somebody. Like, I'm having the hardest time quitting sugar. I feel like I'm a crackhead. It's been the hardest thing one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I know, you know, with my health issues and quitting sugar, we're talking about food as something that we need to survive. Just like sex, I think sex and affection is something that we need to survive as human beings too. And but it's like you know, there's all this food, right? We're over consuming food. We're in a culture, you know, like where we have a high obesity rate, and it's, you know, because not only people are over consuming, but they're also, you know, eating bad food that's bad for them that their body can't process. But it's based off of pleasure, right? It's giving us. A lot of people eat because of pleasure, not necessarily because they need to eat. You know, just like a lot of people are having sex and you know, engaging in sex and porn and all this stuff, not necessarily because they want to procreate or because they want to connect with somebody, but just because they want to physically feel good.
Exactly. And I feel like, oh, I know I'm overing your time, so I just want to talk to you about one more thing. Actually, you know what? I can bridge these two. Okay, so what I find really, really funny, you know how they're saying that it's a new normal, right?
Yeah.
And this is for everyone who's also watching this channel. This is a great rebuttal to any single time, like, you hear people talking about a new normal, and this is what has to happen. Because when we look at the what it is, and I'm saying this humbly, so I'm going to put myself out there and say, I am guilty of this. So I'm saying this humbly. Basically, HSV, HPV, and HIV are claiming more lives and suffering than the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And yet there's no new normal. And we know that those three STIs are like rampant, completely rampant. And yet there's no new normal. And people will say, you know, it's not the same. And what's the other one? Oh, you have to consent. Like they'll talk about how the transition, it doesn't spread by breathing. But it's still spreading faster and claiming more lives and lifelong suffering.
Yeah.
And sorry, my thoughts.
Well, I'm gonna be on tomorrow. I'm gonna be doing a live show every day until Wednesday. So if you want to call back tomorrow, anybody else, you're welcome to do that if you can get through. You know.
All right.
But thank you for calling so much. And it was a really good show today. So I'll be back on 10 tomorrow if you have time, you know. And I saw some people that said they want to get through. I saw LeJohn. I was also trying to keep an eye on the chat. I was trying to let some of the comments through because they keep like censoring some of the comments. I was trying to release them as I'm, you know, listening. But anyway, Andrew, thank you for calling. I will talk to you soon, okay?
All right, talk to you soon, Virstyne.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Hi, guys. All right. Oh, I just want to do one more thing. I saw in the chat, I didn't get to read all of the chat, but I saw, okay. Somebody asked me the name of that book. It's called The Secret Power of Music. There we go. I was talking about the music book. The Secret Power of Music, the Transformation of Self and Society Through Musical Energy. So, yeah. Here we go. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow at 10, all the way up until I'll be doing a live show every day until Wednesday. And if you're going to still talk today, then, you know, hopefully you get to call in one of these days this week. All right. Much love to you and peace through love. Bye-bye. Mwah.